It's the yellow gold of the ocean, a valuable commodity in the economy of a marine ecology. It's not only a food source, but it's also a place of protection for all kinds of different creatures. In fact, I've heard that white sharks also seek protection in these kelp forests. But the benefits are not only for the marine animals, there are benefits for the two-legged variety on land as well.
She's traveling through the wild. She's searching for the truth. A true nature's child. She's gonna find the proof. Picking up the trail. She's gonna find the answers. She's gonna tell the tale. She's gonna tell the tale. Keep it wild. Keep it free. This could be our last chance to see.
Today, we're on a special mission, one that people don't often think about. It's not marine animals that we're scouting for, but rather marine plants. We're going kelp harvesting. This amazing plant is not called the yellow gold of the ocean without reason. It's a great source of richness, with many uses for both humans and marine life. Kelp is also used extensively in paddlemoon farming, where licensed commercial endeavours try to satisfy the increasing world demand for this ocean delicacy. Harvesters cut only the blades of the plant, creating the least damage for a quick regeneration.
It's not the most attractive plant, and it's certainly one that we take for granted every time we visit the ocean. But this kelp is billed as the yellow gold on the South African coastline. They call it yellow gold of the ocean. Do you agree, Jacaranda?
It is the yellow gold. It's very, very important from the country and also from the community.
Jacaranda, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
What's involved?
It's like this.
There you go.
You must leave it like this.
Aha.
That,
Okay, so you're leaving the head of the plant.
yes. You just cut it like 10 centimeter so that it can grow up again. Like
Okay.
that. Yes.
Well, that's very positive. How much do you load per day?
We start from 8 tons and more.
That's incredible. You've basically got a total of 8 men with a skipper pulling 8 tons of kelp per day. It seems like it's all about team effort. Would you say that this is a good team that you have here on the boat?
Yes, I'll be proud of it, of this team. Very, very proud. I'm proud of it. We like our job very, very much. It's dangerous while the water is very, very rough. We used to struggle.
Kelp harvesting is not an easy job. It takes balance, tenacity, and a lot of physical strength. It's also dangerous. The harvesters can fall into the water and they're exposed to the elements. They work in areas inhabited by sharks, and their sharp sickles mean nasty cuts if they misjudge a swell. With the boat constantly moving, you also need good sea legs. Having seen the harvesting from the surface, I've decided to take a plunge and look at life from the bottom up. The kelp grows in forests on rocky sea bottoms and grows largest in cold waters, such as that of the Western Cape. Kelp can grow up to 30 meters in height, with blades or fronds some 1.2 meters or more. It was sad to see how the kelp beds have been stripped of all marine life, just a barren bottom, a dead zone. The stark reminder of how human greed has emptied paddlemon shells. Is this really how much we've damaged our oceans with our ferocious appetite for the exotic and the rare? Quite a sobering thought. The forests are a favourite haunt of seals who love to roll and dart amongst the stems. Kelp forests are truly beautiful, especially floating beneath the canopy of fronds. It also acts as a home, protecting big shoals of fish, mussels, limpets, and even rock lobsters, all living amongst and feeding off the kelp. It was time to head back to the sunshine.
She's searching for the truth. She's searching for the truth.
Back on shore, the kelp boat is high and dry and being offloaded, all few tons of it.
It's a real treasure chest of kelp, but if it's left out in the sun, it's going to ruin. So before the second boat goes out, this is going to be covered with a shade cloth and protected from the seagulls and the elements. Jacaranda, do you have to be strong to do this work?
Yes, you have to be strong to do this work because from the first time you vomit all day, so that will make you more weaker and weaker.
The kelp is heavy and it's back-breaking physical work. Not only the harvesting, but also the loading and offloading. With this weighing impressively on my mind, it's time to visit the Two Oceans Aquarium in Cape Town. One of only 2 aquariums in the world that has a kelp tank. In stark contrast to the wild ocean kelp in which I was diving, this kelp forest is teeming with abundant and colourful sea life, just the way it used to be for our oceans. Seeing the different coloured kelp through the glass, I ponder its benefits for humans, animals and marine life, both in terms of commercial value and community upliftment and nutrition.
Kelp harvesting, the guys are cutting it off 10 centimeters from the stem because it's one of the fastest growing seaweeds out there. Do you believe that kelp harvesting is a good, sustainable industry?
Michelle, it is, and it's always been for a very long time. It's only recently that people really started looking into it and realizing all the products you find kelp in. Just for example, common household products like toothpaste, ice cream, for us men beer, it all contains alginates which are directly derived from kelp. The other thing is because it lives in such a highly turbulent area, it's a plant that can handle a lot of abrasion and handle a lot of natural damage.
So what would be the threats to it?
Oil pollution is probably a killer. The other real problem we can foresee is temperature changes. In summertime when the temperature increases, you will see your kelp biomass slightly decrease.
Water motion, particularly waves and swells, has a profound effect on kelp as the plant obtains all its nutrients from the water. Growing up to 2 feet per day, it's the fastest growing plant on the planet.
Kelp is billed as the yellow gold of the ocean. What do you think?
It is. We find it only now recently has come to the forefront of people's awareness of how much dependent we really are on the ocean. And the unfortunate of something like this too, because it's a resource that's difficult to deplete, we take it for granted.
After having dived in the ocean's kelp forest, I can't resist the opportunity to take a dip in the kelp tank at the aquarium. It looks so different here, just the way I imagined all ocean kelp forests to look. In the tank, natural associations of fishes, invertebrates and algae form a typical kelp forest community. Wave motion has a major impact on the growth of kelp and the microorganisms that feed on it and attach to the stems. With rough wave action, fewer microorganisms are found on the stems, and out in the ocean, the stems will look a lot more barren than these. And there it was. Exactly what I'd been searching for out in the ocean. A fat paddlemon, protected here in the tank from those who indiscriminately rape our oceans for money. The kelp forest is as diverse as a forest on land. We tend to think that it's all about just one plant. Well, it's not. It's a group of plants forming the basis for an entire little ecosystem. Cold water fishes such as white steenbras, galjoen and shoals of pilchards drift among the multicolored magic fronds.
Dr. Rob, you've chosen to specialize in seaweed. What's the fascination?
I like seaweeds.
Why?
Well, you know, plants are the primary producers of the sea, and they're really important in the system as food, as habitat, and just in themselves as producers. In South Africa now, a very important commercial use as well is that it is harvested and cut and fed to farmed abalone, farmed perlman, because our perlman farming is now massive and is far bigger than any collection from the wild. Of course, the perlman have been very much reduced by poaching, but we've also had a natural phenomenon, and that is that the rock lobsters have moved into a section of the coast where they didn't occur in any number before. They've basically eaten all that, so there's been no recruitment now for probably 10 years. So there's no small perlman feeding into the population. That's part of the reason why on that section of coast we have a disaster. We have no recruitment in the perlman.
Back at the boat, the harvesters are offloading yet another heavy load of yellow gold. Looking at the abundant kelp, it seems ironic that while kelp and paddlemon have a symbiotic relationship, kelp is so readily available and yet paddlemon so scarce.
Nico, mense sê dat kelp is die geel goud van die oseaan. Wat dink jy?
Daar's 'n baie goeie toekoms vir die bamboes. Met die perlemoenplase wat uitbrei en die bamboes is eintlik dis baie maklik. Dit is nie soos 'n visserman wat uitgaan en 'n kans vat om 'n vis vang nie. Jy weet daar is bamboes. Jy gaan uit, jy gaan sny jou bamboes.
The harvesting of kelp is not only benefiting communities, but it's also benefiting paddlemon. Yes, this precious cargo of seaweed is being covered and readied for transportation to a cultured paddlemon farm, where it will be used to aid the growth of tiny paddlemon.
You are watching Wild Limited on SABC2.
She's searching for the truth. She's searching for the truth.
Abergold Abalone Farm in Hermanus is the final destination for the precious yellow gold. Once again, the cheerful team set their strong bodies to the heavy task of offloading the kelp, all 8 tons of it, and it's immediately fed into the production line. Kelp is a completely self-sustainable plant and produces everything that is required to nurture the paddlemon to full size, a very slow process. Cultivated paddlemon farms are becoming more popular as the international demand for the sea animal grows. And South African paddlemon is known to be the best in the world after Japanese abalone. Abergold is the largest paddlemon farm in the Southern Hemisphere, and the process of spawning the eggs, ensuring the hatchlings survive, and successfully nursing the babies until they are 7 months old and can be removed out